They're a very good lineup. I think everyone here is a good hitter, and I just need to be confident with my pitches.
Is the reality of it different than just preparing for it though, and how big of a difference is that?
I feel like I can just stick with how I'm preparing and just go out there and fight.
Noah?
Rachel, can you describe the feeling after you hit that home run?
Pretty good. I mean, I like hitting home runs because I think it gets the team going, and it definitely did. I think a few people got on after that, and it was a good little spark, and I think we needed to ride it a little more, and it felt really, really cool to kind of hit one at the World Series.
Clay?
Yeah, Danielle, OU was in here talking about adjustments and sort of adjusting to your changeup, and my question is, could you sense their approach just changing on a dime? I thought they might have been sitting on that pitch by the end of the third.
Yeah, I think I knew they were going to adjust at some point throughout the game, and I just needed to stay on top of it. But
Coach, just seeing the number 13 up there for an opponent, that's the most that anybody scored against you guys this season. Does something like that, when they pile on the runs the way they did today, does that motivate you guys further to try to get back to face them again and change the story that time?
I think it definitely lights a fire, and especially the way, we would give them a couple of bases and then they capitalized on it. We talked as a group after the game, just talking about how to play better softball in that moment, and if you do make a mistake, you've got to get the next out, and really challenged them to be a little bit tougher, like we've been all year, like we were last weekend. So we know how to do it. It's a matter of bringing it to the table now.
Eric?
Coach, I wanted to ask you just about that third inning. We're just trying to overcome those first six batters. They really were able to pass the bat. Just can you talk about what was going through your mind as a coach and just what needed to be done to really kind of slow them down?
Well, you're right. We needed to slow them down. They squared up the ball pretty well to start the inning, and then they got a couple of ground ball hits and a walk, and then the big hit, right? And at that point, we hadn't gotten an out yet. So that's where we've got to challenge our leaders. We've got to challenge everybody on the field to slow the game down and to simply focus on getting the next out.
Your third inning, you get the home run, obviously, and then the walks. Trotwine figures out a way to get out of that inning. Did you feel like maybe, I don't know, she figured out a way to turn off the spigot before things got crazy? What'd you think about her in that third inning and overall today?
Well, she's tough. She's tough. But I thought our team did a great job of fouling off some tough pitchers' pitches and extending at bats. And after a home run, getting a rally again is big. But I felt like we let her off the hook a little bit. But that after you give up a run, good teams come back and put the pressure on, and that's exactly what they did. And that's something that our team usually done all year. So we'll learn from it. Our team has been so great in that even in the locker room after the game, we're like, okay, what can we learn from this? What were we good at? Where were we really uncharacteristically not good at things? So it'll take a minute to flush this, and we'll get back at it tomorrow.
Clay?
Yeah, about Oklahoma's third inning, and I presume you call pitches or an assistant calls pitches from the dugout?
Yes.
So my question then is, how do you go about, or what is the challenge as a pitch caller to try to keep them off balance? Because it did seem like you did for a couple of innings, and then suddenly you didn't. How do you go about making those patterns, whatever the pitches are?
Well, it's a pretty complicated, or we scout. I'll give you the short version. Great. It's real simple. It's two things. You got to execute the pitch, and then you've got to stay one pitch ahead of them. It's a combination of those two things. And if either one break down, you're gonna give up some bases, and that's what we did.
Over here.
You kept Danielle in some pretty tight situations in the last series against Arizona State. This time, when the runs started pouring in, you decided to take her out in the third, fourth inning and bring in Lauren and Sydney. Knowing that there is the potential of a game tomorrow and a few more down the line if this team is to make the College World Series final, what made this situation different? Why did the pitching switch occur this time?
We took Danielle out because that inning was so long, and she needed a break. a physical break and an emotional break. So it wasn't like she was done for the day, but we knew that we needed to change her look. We needed to just kind of let her have a breather.
The hit by pitch that was reviewed in the 7th, I'm wondering if you received a specific, also if you've seen a replay of it since, but if you got a specific explanation from the umpires, because it clearly hit an exposed flap of that protective thing on her elbow. It was 2 inches from her arm. And I'm just wondering if they said tough, that's the rule, or if they even went that far with the explanation.
No, I haven't spoken with anyone about it.
For more information, you can visit TulsaWorld.com.